Recently, we celebrated the first streamiversary over on the Twitch. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been part of the Haunt's growth this year. Whether that's been showing up in chat, lurking, sharing links, making donations, subscribing, buying things off the wish list, and to all my lovely collaborators this year. I've made a lot of friends I didn't expect to encounter this year, and there are other people that I hope to get to know better with time. And yeah, for a traumatized lump of a person like me, and that's not self-deprecating, okay? Just want to be clear about that. It's been actually kind of overwhelming at times, and that's in a good way. And I'm looking forward, as they say, to see where we go from here. And yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where when something is kind of going okay, or even going well, like you kind of keep waiting for it to stop, for the good stuff to kind of just like go up in smoke one day, and it was all just a dream. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have this outlet and to have you guys around building this community with me. So let's talk about, we talked about it a little bit around New Year's, and I just wanted to kind of put out there a more official addressing of what 2024 will have in store for us. I mean, obviously, number one, I want to do more charity streams. I mean, minimum, I want to do 3 this year. That's like minimum. I would love to do more. Obviously, continue doing cool collabs with cool people. And, keep continuing to do what I've always kind of, I guess I didn't necessarily recognize that it was something that I was extending into horror when I started streaming, but I want to continue to make things like horror and like Dark Souls specifically more accessible to more people. There's so many people who come in during our horror-centric streams and who are surprised by the vibe, by the energy that, hey, I can be like comfy here, but also, enjoy the scares and not feel uncomfortable, or, know that Marley and Chad are going to do their darndest to make sure you're kept abreast of any content warnings and that sort of thing. I'd also like to do more retro horror, including, bad and, quote unquote bad games. We might not necessarily finish the bad ones, but, at least have a look at them. And when I say retro, I mean anything up to the 6th generation, so anything up to the PS2. So there will be games that, I've never touched and don't really know that much about, like Countdown Vampires or Deep Fear, where it's like I've only seen some like bits and pieces or just know a little bit. Or it might be something like Parasite Eve that is this absolute classic, but I've never actually gotten to play. I've watched other people play it, but I've never gotten to play it. On the other hand, I would also like to hit up some favorites like Eternal Darkness or Rule of Rose. Not saying that we're going to get to like all those titles. These are just examples I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying we're going to get to all those titles in 2024. It's a general thing I want to be doing more of going forward, is just touching on more retro horror games. So yeah, look forward to that. I'd also like to do more stealth streams. I mean, I feel like because stealth games are often not horror games, a horror might incorporate stealth, but it isn't necessarily entirely stealth. The ones I have up my sleeve are usually a little bit more like dark fantasy or something that I have in my pocket. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But I really love stealth games. So yeah, it's something I still want to like sprinkle here and there throughout the year. It's something I enjoy. Speaking of non-horror, there's been some feedback from part of the community saying, hey, we actually would be totally into seeing you play something that was not horror. I am not aiming to be, nor have I ever aimed to be, a variety streamer. That's not a diss against variety streamers. It's just not what my goal has ever been. My goal has always been to focus on horror and horror adjacent titles. But yes, sometimes like we've done like charity milestones and things where it's like, hey, we're gonna play a non-horror game that is something that's, you know, that I pick, that I curate, that I'm like, this is a game that means a lot to me for one reason or another, and we're gonna play this. So like, for example, we played last year we played Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. It's just like a little one-off, just showing people the game and how it works, and how, you know, and getting people interested in this title that they may not have actually ever engaged with before. As far as regular non-horror content goes, I don't want it to be more than like one day a week, you know, because I just don't want to stray too far from, you know, the vibe and everything that we've built up here. But I think it's totally cool and fine if people are interested in engaging with some other types of games with me at the helm. Absolutely, let's do it. Let's give it a try. As far as YouTube only content goes, because, you know, a lot of the time with the YouTube only stuff lately, it's been non-horror type of things. We've been doing Mass Effect with Dandelion, for example. In the next week or so, he and I will have finished recording the Mass Effect trilogy. Once those episodes are up, the only unique YouTube only series will be the Saga of Siegfried, which is currently in Dark Souls 2, and I very rarely have had the opportunity to be recording for it, so I will have more time for that, but that'll basically be the only one, at least for the foreseeable future. Just to be clear, I have mentioned on social media that it'd be cool if I could set aside time to possibly start scripting one or two video essay ideas that have been kicking around in my head for forever. I think one of them has been kicking around in there for like 10 years. I'm not exaggerating. But I've just never had the energy, the motivation, the time to be like, okay, I want to sit down and spend time drafting a script and doing the research and all this stuff when, you know, especially right now, I need to be making all this time for streaming and all that. So we'll see how that all ends up playing out, if it's something I can maybe like pick at here and there. So 2024, continue with more good stuff, more horror, and yeah, just keep trying to grow. And I don't just mean the numbers, I mean people. Maybe that sounds weird to say in a video like this, but we should always be striving to become even better people. So let us continue our journeys to become better people together. Okay, so now that I've made it awkward, I should probably wrap this up.